Good morning, students. Today we have discussed about the story from supplementary chapter 5, Footprints Without Foot, written by H.G. Wells. The story is a science fiction. The main character in this story is Mr. Griffin. He struggled hard to survive among the people and in the cold weather, and he had no money or place to stay. So he decided to stay at the inn of Mrs. Hall, and she greeted the visitor and treated him well. He stole money from the clergyman's house and to pay his rents. His presence and appearance made everyone suspicious, and the policeman Jeffers tried to catch him, but he escaped by removing his clothes. Let's talk about this story. And this story is the story talks about a scientist who discovered how to make himself invisible. The two boys on a street in London were surprised to see fresh muddy footprints of bare feet on the steps of house without finding who was making them. They were shocked when the footprints disappeared. These footprints had been made by Mr. Griffin, who was an eccentric scientist and discovered how to make his body transparent. Griffin was having a criminal bent of mind and was a lawless person. He set fire to his landlord's house to take revenge against him and trying to evict him. To get away, he had to remove his clothes so that he could become an invisible. He was a homeless, wandered in London without clothes or money during winter. Griffin managed to escape from the two boys' observation and entered unseen into a big store in Drury Lane to get warm. After the store was closed at night, Griffin put on some new clothes and had food and coffee from the restaurant in the store and went to sleep on the pile of quilts. He overslept and only woke up when the shop had opened and the assistant had arrived. He again took off his clothes so that they could not see him and thus saved himself from being caught. Griffin reached at Alping village for shelter because he was wandered without shelter, without food, and he went to Mrs. Hall, the innkeeper, to stay. Happy Mrs. Hall was happy to have a visitor in an unexpected way, and he asked for privacy. Mrs. Hall tried to comfort him, and she took a great care of him. However, she was a little suspicious of his unusual behavior, because when his money was finished, he robbed a clergyman's house by using his invisibility. He scared them to life and he robbed them to pay his rent. One day, Mrs. Hall found Griffin's room open with his bandages and clothes lying around. She and her husband entered the room, and suddenly both of them were attacked by the furniture being flung at them. But they could not see who was doing this. Mrs. Hall felt that the furniture was haunted by the spirits, and as she could not see Mr. Griffin. When the clergyman reported the burglary to the police, most people in the village felt that the strange scientist had a hand in it, and because he paid his due rent, whereas earlier he was not able to do so. So Mr. Jeffers, the village police constable, was called to arrest Griffin on suspicion. And Griffin lost his temper and decided to tell the reality. He started removing his clothes, and even Jeffers could not catch someone whom he could not see, and he was knocked unconscious by the invisible man who escaped. he by this story we can see how Mr. Griffin used the science to escape from the police. It is a wonderful story written by H.G. Wells. Hope students you enjoy it. In next video we will discuss all the question answer from this chapter. Till then, thank you.